Everybody, and welcome back to another fun and exciting intermediate math class. Today in class, we're going to learn about least common multiples, or LCMs, and that is going to be on page number 37, and that is lesson 1.8. So we're moving through this first chapter. It's a little bit longer chapter. Most of the chapters are a little bit shorter than this one. I think this one has like 14 lessons or something like that. So it's a little bit longer, but we are making progress through it. A little about halfway, a little over halfway through. So just keep working hard, do your best. All right, look down here at the screen. The least common multiple, or what we call the LCM, This is very similar to the GCF, except it's different. There are differences, but it's very similar. We're going to find it almost the same way. What does it mean? Well, let's start with that. Least common multiple. What is least? Well, the least is the smallest multiple. There's the same word, so I didn't do very good of giving you a new definition there, but I'm going to give you a new definition. A multiple is the product when two numbers are multiplied together. So 1 times 3 equals 3. That's the multiple. Okay. 2 times 3 equals 6. 6 would be the multiple. Okay. So those are the multiples. The multiple is like your product, your solution to a multiplication problem. So the smallest multiple shared, and that's that word common, shared, by two or more numbers is called the LCM. How do we find the LCM? Well, I'm glad you asked. We're going to find the LCM almost the same way that we found the GCF, except for we need to add one step. Okay? That's the only thing that we need to do here is add one step. So, step number 1, write the prime factorization of the number. Just like we did up here, write the prime factorization of the number. So come back over here and let's write our two numbers. This time our number is going to be 36 and 40. So we want to prime factor that. So 2, we already did 36 once. Oops, sorry. 9, there we go, 3 and 3. Now we're going to prime factor 40. We didn't do 40, we did 90 earlier, so we'll have to do this one. 2 goes into that 20 times, 2 goes into that 10 times, 2 goes into that 5 times. 5 is prime, so we're done. So there are your prime factors. Okay. Step number 2, we want to circle the common factors. Circle the common. So look, 2 and 2. Then we have another 2 and another 2. 3 is not common, right? So that 3 is not common, that 2 is not common, that 5 is not common. So all we have are the 2 sets of 2's. So we're going to do the same thing. Remember when I changed that earlier, I said I didn't really like how I had that written. Multiply the pairs of common factors together. So I changed that again right there. Multiply the pairs of common factors together. So in other words, we're going to come over here and we're going to say, I can do this right here. 2 times 2, because we have 2 sets of 2, right? So 2 pairs of 2, 2 times 2. But notice what this says. This is the new step, step number 4. Multiply the leftovers, or the non-common factors. Look, we have a leftover 3, 3, 2, 5. Times 3, times 3, times 2, times 5. Okay, so we're going to find the least common multiple. We have to do all this. This is a big multiplication problem. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 is 9, times 2 is 10. All right, so all I did right there was basically broke that down and multiplied. And you can do that. I didn't break any math rules there. 9 times 10 is 90 times 4. So 4 times 90. I'll just come over to my calculator and do that. It'll save me a little bit of time. 4 times 90 equals 360. Well, LCD, I put LCD, LCM, sorry, is 360. 360. Now, you might think, well, I thought you said that it was going to be the least common multiple. That's a really big number to be the least common multiple. I know. Here's something to remember, and it seems backwards, but usually your least common multiples are going to be bigger numbers, and um, your GCF, your greatest common factor, those are going to be your smaller numbers. Like I said, it seems backwards because the least you think should be bigger. But why is that? Because the factor's breaking down and the multiple is multiplying. So the multiple is getting bigger and the factor is getting smaller. When do we use the LCM? We use it when adding and subtracting fractions, and we're going to get to that very quickly, but let me just do one real quick, and then I'll be done with this lesson. So if I have 1/2 plus 2/3, okay? So this is my addition problem, 1/2 plus 2/3. I can't add that together, can I? No. Because why? I have to have a common denominator. I have to get the 2 and the 3 to be the same. Now, I'm doing a very simple one here. So if I prime factor the number 2, it's already factored. If I prime factor the number 3, it's already factored. So I have nothing common, so I take them and multiply them. My LCM, or in this case, my least common denominator, is going to be these two things multiplied by each other. It's going to be 6. So I'm going to have 6 as my new denominator, my common denominator, okay? And so what do? In this case, I try to get them to be both 6. I multiply this times what to get to be 6? 3 times 2 equals 6. I have to do the same thing to the numerator. Hopefully you've seen this before. This is like a 5th, 6th grade level type math. If you haven't seen it, then let me know and we can work on this. So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times what gives me 6? 2 times 3 gives me 6. Here, 1 times 3 gives me 3. So now I have my new fractions. Notice my new fractions are just equivalent fractions. 1/2 is the same as 3/6. Exact same thing. I'm just writing it differently. And I'm going to now add these. I add the numerators. 3 plus 4 is 7/6. My new answer is 7/6, or I would simplify that to 1 1/6. 1 1/6. Now, if you don't know this right now, if you didn't follow that right now, it's okay. We're going to get to this. I'm going to teach this again in an upcoming lesson. The key is that you need to understand the LCM, okay? How do you understand the LCM? Just follow the steps, okay? If you will learn to follow the steps that I give you in pre-algebra, you will get a lot of these questions correct.
Well, that's all I had for you in this lesson. Hopefully you learned something there, and just a little bit of a shorter lesson, kind of similar to greatest common factor, right? But just a little bit different process. You use LCM for different things than you would use the GCF for, but if you ever need to find a common denominator, something like that, you would use that least common multiple, or LCD, you'll also hear it called. So that's all I got for you. Have a good one. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.